let's get straight to it. I don't know what the title will be, but basically something along the lines of how to distance yourself from people that you don't want to associate with as an introvert or someone that isn't just straight up honest with a person. Because it can be definitely really hard to just tell someone straight to their face, like, hey man, I don't really want to be your friend anymore. I know that's hard. And I feel like telling that to someone, as apart from just being hard, it can also just make the other person feel a certain way. And I think the main reason a lot of people struggle with this is because that person might have mutual friends with you, and you might be scared of that person getting your mutual friends against you to pick a side. It can just start a lot of problems, and I know especially in high school it's a really big challenge. So basically I'll just tell you, I'm not gonna say my personal experiences because I don't want to make this video too long, but I'll basically just tell you guys some things you can do to, I guess, make it more natural without, I guess, throwing shade or making it obvious or whatnot. And it's pretty simple. I would say literally the easiest thing you can do is just, I don't want to say lie, but just distance yourself slowly. And what I mean by that is, instead of just telling them straight up, like, hey man, I don't really vibe with you, I don't respect you, whatever it may be, just distance yourself slowly. So for instance, a lot of the times back in high school, I had a friend group, and I noticed that some of them were fake. Because, sometimes someone might not be there and they would talk about that guy behind their back. So I felt like that they might be doing that to me as well. And I just didn't really like that energy that was, in that environment. And the main thing we did was just play basketball. We weren't really friends outside of that. We didn't ever like hang out, like go to like a dinner or something. We just played basketball, and it was fun. I enjoyed playing basketball with them. But the easiest thing for me to distance myself from them, or at least the specific people, is just if they ever, called me or texted me like, hey man, you trying to play this week? I would lie. I'm not telling you to lie, but you can always just make excuses, say something along the lines like, hey man, sorry man, maybe next time. And I feel like that's literally genuinely the easiest way to like kind of politely just tell them like, hey man, I'm not really interested. Because for me in high school, I never drank, I never smoked, and I don't do that type of stuff. And I used to be invited to a lot of parties because, especially in middle school, but I'm not gonna act like I wasn't even in high school trying to be like a popular kid. And what I mean by that popular kid, I don't mean that I wanted to be like known by everyone, but I wanted everyone to like me. And being liked by everyone means that you do certain things that others do. But I was never that type of guy that, did drugs or anything like that. But I was funny. Like, I was a pretty funny kid. I was like a class comedian. Not really class comedian, but if I was close with you, I was really funny. So that's how I grew a lot of friendships. And then, certain people would like me enough, and they would invite me to parties. But I would literally never show up. And it was nothing against them. But I did establish also that those things just weren't my environment. And the people that truly understood and had the same values as me is usually the people that I got way better, like I got along with way better. And then the ones that did those things, we were still just school friends, and it's no hard feelings. But the thing is, I genuinely think the easiest way to, I guess, cut off someone or like just end a friendship is just to distance yourself slowly but surely. And you can always just, it is kind of fake, and it is kind of like lying and stuff. And I get that that's not the most ideal, but if you're able to do it in a truthfully, in a truthful way, I don't see the issue. Because I'm assuming you're watching this video because you can't do it. You can't just straight up be like, hey man, I don't like you, or I don't really want to be friends no more. So you got to do it, some way. If that way is to spend your time working instead, then at least you're doing something with your time that's better, right? Than hanging out with toxic people. So I would literally say that's the easiest way, genuinely. Like, I didn't really want to like associate myself with those people anymore. So I just stopped playing basketball a lot, and I just told him like, I don't really like basketball anymore, and that's a lie. But like, to be fair, at that time I didn't play basketball at all, so I wasn't lying. Like I truly just stopped playing basketball. I focused on my studies, because that's also another thing. Sometimes like you might like spend too much time with people that it's not necessarily that you're doing something bad. Like basketball is a pretty good thing for your health and everything, but sometimes you might just be like going to the mall and just walking around and hanging out, like just talking. And that might be, a lot of time that you're wasting every week, a month, and so they could, use for school instead. So in those situations, you just tell them straight up, hey man, I'm busy, maybe another time. And most people pick up on it pretty easily. Like I even like those people that I try to like distance myself from, they also literally told me like, hey man, like not that they didn't say that, but what I'm trying to say is that like they told me like, yeah, I'm not gonna bother like even calling you because you're not gonna show up to the party, so what's the point? So I stopped getting invited to parties, and I didn't feel a certain way because I could not care less, because even if I wanted to, I would not show up. You know what I mean? So that's like literally the easiest way. um I guess another way is just a little, it depends on what type of person you are. If you're the one that's not very confrontational, and let's say you're an introvert, so it's already hard to just be straight up with them. Another good way is just to build new friendships. Or let's say you have 5 friends. Let's just say you have 5 friends and you don't want to be friends with this guy. Start spending more time with other people, and that way you're distancing yourself from this person, but it's not a bad thing. Like I understand some people might think that, oh, they're gonna pick up on it, oh, they're gonna like feel a certain way about me. Like let's say you have this friend and this friend, and you know how I was talking about playing basketball. I started using that time to, for me it was just focusing more on school, but I could have been using that time to, I guess, spending time playing soccer or something. And like in that aspect, it's like you can't really get mad at me because like I'm just not interested in doing what you're doing, and I get along with this person really well, and I just grown closer to them. So I'm sorry that I don't have as much time to spend time with you. You know what I mean? So in that way, it's like all like psychological, I guess. Like I feel like everyone, even I myself, sometimes can recognize when someone doesn't really mess with me or wants to distance themselves from me, but I'm not going to like do anything about it. Maybe some people are immature enough to do it, but I truly believe with the two examples that I gave, or like the two reasons, the two approaches, I guess, or the two ways to, I guess, slowly distance yourself from them, even though they might pick up on it or they might realize like, oh, okay, I guess he doesn't really have much time anymore for me. Usually they won't really do much about it. It's only really a problem if, let's say you don't want to play basketball with this guy, but you want to play basketball with this other guy. In that aspect, especially if it's a group and you don't like one person individually, yeah, that's a whole different like just conversation. Not gonna lie, that I feel like maybe that's a bigger problem. But I would try, what I would do is I would just focus on one-on-one friendships at that point. Like let's say you're in a group and you don't like one guy and you don't want to make it awkward and stuff, then you should just make yourself available when that person isn't there. And that necessarily isn't a bad thing either. Like maybe they'll pick up on it, as I said, but even if they pick up on it, you can always, if you feel comfortable enough, you can just lie like, hey, just convenience, right? What I do sometimes is, I still like playing basketball, but I don't really want to play basketball with certain people anymore because it's just very toxic. I just play with certain people individually. So just me and that person that I actually mess with. And that isn't an issue because there's countless of things I can say that aren't a lie. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to play at, in the evening. He lives closer to me. I just wanted to play some chill basketball. I didn't really want to play in a group. Like, there's a lot of things that you can say that aren't that you aren't lying. You know what I mean? But I mean, I do understand if it's like, especially if you have a group of friends and you don't like one person, that is completely different. And I mean, maybe if you guys want, I can make a video more on that. That is a little different. But overall, I would say the best way to distance yourself from someone or just cut someone off or whatever is just distance yourself from them. do something instead to make yourself more busy so you're not feeling bad that you're lying to them or something. And then the second way is, damn, I forgot what my second way was. Yeah, I forgot what I said was the second way, but I mean, you watched the video, so you probably remember. And I think that's about it. I'll end it off, and peace.